Treasure Coast Connector, connecting residents and businesses of the Treasure Coast. And here's your host, Helen Contreras.
Well, welcome to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Helen Contreras, and this show is about putting a spotlight on local business owners. Everyone who starts their own business has a great reason for doing so, so we want to know their backstory and what makes their products and services unique and special. Today in the studio with me is a chef, and he is going to take us on an exotic tour of the world through spices. And he will also teach us how to put the fun and fabulousness back in our food. Chef Joel Tallant is the founder and owner of Silk Road Spice Emporium, and he has created amazingly mouth-watering mixtures of spices and herbs, and we're going to learn all about it today, so that by the end of the show, you're going to be hungry and eager to start cooking. So welcome, Joel. Yay!
Thanks, Ellen. I appreciate this opportunity to come in and talk to people. And hopefully with everything going on, more people are cooking at home and enjoying their food they're preparing. That's one of the things I love most about what I do is I love making great food and enjoying it and sharing it with other people.
Yes. So now my husband and I met you at first at Main Street Vero Beach, downtown Friday. And I was drawn because it was at night. So your booth was well lit and it was sleek and it was beautiful and it was very elegant looking. So I'm looking at all these wonderful things. And then my husband, who loves to cook, the three of us started chatting. It was very obvious that you love what you do. So tell everyone what got you started in the world of cooking and spices and all this wonderfulness.
Well, I started working when I was 13, got my work permit, started working as a line cook in a seafood restaurant in Maryland where I grew up. Fell in love with the business and the industry, and by the time I graduated from high school, I decided that this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So I started preparing myself in the career and finding the right jobs to expand my horizons in the industry. After 15 years in the business, I decided I was the executive sous chef at the Hilton in downtown Annapolis, and my boss, who was the chef there at the time, encouraged me to go back to culinary school. So I went to Johnson & Wales University up in Providence, Rhode Island, which at the time was a private college before it was a university.
That's an esteemed school.
I got my degree in food and beverage management because I really didn't need the culinary side. I needed the management side to understand the business better. And I've been doing this now for almost 48 years, and it's a food of love. It's something I really enjoy doing, and the passion I put into the preparation of all the foods and things I do. I get satisfaction from my customers knowing that they're enjoying what I prepared. I've taken that passion for food and working in the restaurants and the kitchens and now transformed it into doing it with spices because I want people to enjoy some of those foods that I prepared in the kitchen and restaurants, to be able to do that and duplicate them at home and play with their food. I encourage people all the time, play with your food, enjoy it, experiment, try new flavors, especially with your kids, because their palate is developing, and the more you expose them to different flavors, the more they're going to enjoy food down the road.
Yeah, they're less inclined to be picky eaters, but now with COVID, this has thrown a monkey wrench into how we live and work. And so it's nice. I still do takeout because I want to support local business. But now in my house, my husband loves to cook. But there are plenty of people out there you see on social media. They're sharing recipes, asking for recipes. So give us some tips on.
I got a couple that I can, tell you right off the top that are really easy. There's no, secret or magic to preparing, a good meal. Take baby back ribs, for example. Peel the silver skin off of the back of them, season them up with my barbecue rub. Let them sit on the counter for about 30 minutes and let the moisture of the meat draw the spice in, and it'll go from dry from when you put it on to wet. Wrap them up in aluminum foil, put them in your oven at 350 for 2 hours. They're done.
Wow.
And you won't need sauce because the way I designed the rub, it kind of makes its own sauce
Juices
right on the ribs inside the foil packet.
Nice.
So it steams them up. Another great way is
captivating cuisine. That's what I call this. Yeah.
It's simple and an easy cleanup. You just take the ribs out of the foil, cut them off, serve them. wrap everything up, throw it right in the garbage. You're done.
I like that better. Easy cleanup.
Makes easy cleanup. Coconut shrimp. I do a coconut yuzu citrus seasoning. A couple of tablespoons mixed with a stick of butter, softened up. Make a little compound butter. Saute the shrimp in it for about 8 minutes till they're just turning from that opaque to white. Mm-hmm. Take them out, serve them. They're mouth-watering, and it'll take you a coconut shrimp from what you're used to in the restaurants with the shredded coconut to a whole nother level.
Oh, that is so...
And it's quick and easy as well.
Yes. So now we have show and tell, okay, for the people that are watching, or listen and tell for the people that are listening on the radio. Although I always say if somebody wants to watch this when they're, at their desk and they're listening or they're driving around, I tell them planetvero.com, click on live stream, and then you scroll down, you see everybody's shows, click show more, find Treasure Coast Connector, and then they can find your episode and watch this. But please tell us, what's in front of us?
I brought a variety of different spices with you here, and I'm going to take you on a trip around the world with some of the ones that I've blended. Starting with, I have a black pepper from Sumatra. And most people think, well, black pepper is very pungent, very strong, peppery flavor to it. When you open up the jar of this black pepper, you get the smell of mandarin oranges and lemons and citrus flavor, and that's natural in the pepper. Mm-hmm. It's called a batak berry. It comes from the mountains of Sumatra and Indonesia, and it's grown in the wild. It's not farmed, so they have to hand harvest all of it. Mm-hmm. I have Japanese sea salt, which is harvested the old-fashioned way from drying seaweed.
Okay.
Because it comes from the sea and harvested from the seaweed, it has naturally occurring iodine in it. Mm-hmm. So when you're not missing the iodine your body needs for, from not using table salt anymore.
So
Berber
these are
spice.
like tins, and then you have packets.
Yep, I have most of my spices are all packaged in 2-ounce tins. These are rust-proof stainless steel tins. It protects the spices from light and air. Mm-hmm. The packages up there are packaged in 3-ounce packages because they're a little bit more. I have a Thai coconut green curry. I have a za'atar seasoning. I have a Egyptian dukkha, which are bread dipping spices. And then I have my Italian seasoning, which is from a Sicily recipe from Sicily.
So they're packaged this way because those types of spices people might use in a greater...
They'll use more and more a variety of different things and more of it at one time than just in the little 2-ounce tin. Mm-hmm. All the spices in the 2-ounce tin are blended in small batches every couple of weeks. So because they're so fresh, a little does go a long way.
That is true. Because the mango chimichurri, oh my goodness, you had said how good that is on salmon. It is amazing on salmon, and it is delightful. And yes, my husband enjoys using
most chimichurris are, from Argentina, are very spicy because they're used on steaks. I specifically designed that particular chimichurri to be lighter in the spice market so that it would fit with shrimp or fish or chicken. Mm-hmm. So it wouldn't overpower it with too much spicy or too much chili pepper.
Yeah.
And I found that the perfect balance like on the salmon, like you said, is just phenomenal.
Yeah. It is very delightful. So what are some of the other things for like something quick and easy if people, are not used to cooking?
Most people, when they cook fish, they'll use Zatarain's seafood seasoning or Old Bay. I have a Caribbean seafood seasoning that I mask the flavors off of escabeche of snapper, where you use bell peppers and chilies and onions and a few other spices. It makes it a perfect blend for seasoning your fish. It's great for peel and eat shrimp. It's great for low country boil. It's great for using instead of Old Bay in your crab cakes. I've had sushi chefs who've tried it on their sushi. It doesn't overpower the sushi. It enhances the flavor of the fish.
Oh, wow.
So I try to make sure all my spices are very versatile, and why I encourage people, I might call it a seafood seasoning, but try it on chicken.
Yeah.
Try it on something different. My coconut yuzu, I tell people I cook jasmine rice, and I'll take jasmine rice and cook it with coconut oil. And when I go to fluff it when it's done cooking, I'll sprinkle some of my coconut yuzu seasoning into the rice, close it back up, and let it sit there and steep that flavor into the rice.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
So there's so much you could do with these different spices, and the only way to play with your food, enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's wonderful. So now how about doing a marinade, like the day before or something?
My Jamaican jerk, most people assimilate Jamaican jerk to a paste that you rub on chicken, which is what they do in Jamaica. I made my spice rubs in a dry rub, so now when you sprinkle it on your chicken, put it in a Ziploc bag, drizzle a little olive oil, and close it up, mush it around, put it back in your refrigerator overnight. Mm-hmm. Let it sit and marinate in that jerk spice.
Yeah.
And then take it out the next day and then cook it. And what I did with that jerk spice to take it to that ultimate level of flavor so that it resembled the flavors in Jamaica is I actually smoked the seasoning with pimento wood from Jamaica that they use on the wood grills and the wood-fired ovens down there to cook the jerk chicken on. So you get that smoky flavor right off your gas grill.
I love that. Wow. Okay. So now, in addition to the rubs and the spices, you have olive oils and what is that?
This? Well, I do sell a lot. I do sell
that up a little bit. So
I do sell a couple of different rare and exotic things. Most people are familiar with pink Himalayan salt out of Pakistan. This is called Persian blue salt, and it comes out of the mountains of Iran. And you're seeing this purplish or blue hue to it.
It's pretty and it sparkles.
That's the light reflecting off the minerals that make it appear to be blue. But when you grind it up, it's actually white.
Oh wow! Okay.
So I bring in my Persian blue salt in rock form, so that I know I'm getting the actual real deal when I buy it, and also I want people to know that they can take it and I can break pieces off, and they can grate it themselves fresh, not just buy it and put it in a salt grinder.
Okay. That's probably what I would have done with it, but that's nice to know that there are options. And what are some of the other products?
My olive oil, I bring in from, the various parts of Tuscany and Italy and Spain. I try to find the biodynamic olive oil farms that are world-class, award-winning olive oil farms. One of them that I'm selling right now from Tuscany, the Francie farm, they Farm of the Year for 2019. They scored 99 out of 100 in the world competitions for taste and quality on their olive oils. They're a biodynamic farm, which means they're organic and they're non-GMO. Their extra virgin olive oil one of the ones I bring in is you get that strong grassy flavor, you get that little bit of artichoke, and then you get that little peppery bite down here in the bottom of your throat, and it's just phenomenal flavor. Then I have a lighter olive oil because I have some customers that don't like that strong grassy flavor or that strong olive oil, and they want to use it for their salads or marinades, so they want it a little bit milder. So I have a variety of different ways of doing that for the customers and bringing in. But I try to I research the quality of the oils and if it's going to be enough, something my customers are going to enjoy, because I don't want them to buy something
that they're not happy
that great.
With. That's very good. Well, you know what we're going to do? I know where you can get all of these amazing spices and olive oils and rubs and stuff, but you don't know. But if you want to know, you have to wait a couple of moments. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back, and we're going to learn a lot more about Joel Tallant and Silk Road Spice Emporium. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Jennifer Toby from Treasure Coast Compassionate Care, serving all of the Treasure and Gulf Coast. We provide a wide array of services, including driving our clients to their physician, shopping, cleaning, making beds, reminding clients to take their medication, providing hygiene assistance, personal laundry and bed linens, preparing and serving meals, providing respite care for caregivers, helping with correspondence, providing socialization, friendship, and support, going on walks, and encouraging and participating in stimulating activities. So call us today for an in-home assessment at 772-226-7072. 772-226-7072, or visit us at treasurecoastcompassionatecare.com.
During times of uncertainty, people have always come together to support one another. COVID-19 is the new test of our collective strength. As we all adjust to the new normal, we're facing new and unprecedented economic challenges. United Way is mobilizing to provide accurate information and vital services and support for those struggling to get by during this uncertain time. To support this rapidly escalating need, the United Way of Indian River County and a coalition of philanthropic partners have joined together to create the COVID-19 Community Response Fund, which is working to deploy flexible resources to local organizations to support those in our community who are disproportionately impacted by the novel coronavirus and the economic consequences of this health crisis. Dialing 211 remains the go-to information resource in times of crisis to connect people with disaster, food, housing, utility, healthcare resources, and more. For more information, updated resources, and funded partner agencies, or to donate online, please visit our website, www.unitedwayirc.org. Stay safe and live united.
Well, welcome back to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Helen Contreras. Before the break, Chef Joel Tallant of Silk Road Spice Emporium, we were talking about these amazing spices and herb blends that he has, and salts and olive oil. So welcome back, Joel. I was teasing everybody because we were talking about these gorgeous spices. There's just no other way to say it. And they're from all over the world. So this is not your grandmother's spices. This is exciting stuff. So now, where can people find you, Joel?
Well, right now, with this COVID issue that's going on in the world crisis we're having, on Wednesdays and Fridays from 3 to 5, and Saturdays from 10 to 2, you can find me at Peterson's Grove on 66th Avenue. Mm-hmm. I set up there, and I work with Vicky's Mobile Seafood, and I sample out my spices using some of her fresh fish and some of her meats, so people get a chance to try it in real-world taste on a product that it's designed for or can be played with.
And this market is an essential business. So
it's an essential business.
Being very appropriate with your social distancing and how people can pay with their credit card and not touch anything. And
yep, yeah, we've set it up so that when they come up, they can slide their credit card into the credit card machine, pull it out themselves, and then I'll have them sign off on it and then email or text them a receipt right from the machine. Yeah. So it makes it quick and easy. We keep our distance of 6 feet. So that it makes, when they're up at the table looking at my spices, I step back to give them the time to be able to sit back and enjoy some of the different spices. I have a chafing dish that I'll open up and they can come over and then try, and I'll tell them what's in there and they can pick up and try something from the chafing dish to taste.
Okay. And then your website.
My website, www.silkroadspiceemporium.com. All the products will be up on the website that you can order from there. If you are in the local Vero Beach area in Indian River County, I have set it up where I will do local deliveries on Thursday mornings. And all you have to do is when you go to checkout, type in local delivery. That way it tells me when your address is a local address, and I can deliver it. And that way you don't have to wait for me to mail it through priority mail through the shipping, and you don't have to pay the shipping cost.
Ah, that's wonderful.
And I'm only doing that for the Indian River County and Vero Beach, area residents.
Okay.
But on the other side of the coin, for those that are not in the Vero Beach area that place orders, it's a $10 flat fee for shipping. I use priority mail, so it makes it very easy. If it fits, it ships. It costs me, about $10 to do that on any size box. So it works very well.
Well, that is wonderful. Okay, so now your website, I just want to kind of circle back to your website. It is chock full of information. You were explaining a lot about your spices and things, but there is a lot of information that you have on that and your Facebook page to help people while they're shopping understand how to use these spices. You don't leave people hanging, and you're happy to answer questions so people can email you. Your email address, boy, is it complicated. Can you tell everybody?
Yeah, I have a pretty ancient email address, chef@hotmail.com.
It's like the perfect email.
I was kind of there when the internet was formed, so it made it easy to grab that. I was working with a gentleman, a good friend of mine, Pat Gibson, who was known as the computer chef in the American Culinary Federation, and Mark Hollerman, who was the corporate chef for Indian Harvest Rice. They had a bulletin board called ChefNet, and I joined them to help promote ChefNet. And that was back in the late 80s. And then in 92, when the internet came out, we kind of grabbed Chefette. So we all had, three of us had chef at
hotmail.com.
So we kind of got the reps on that pretty quick.
And that is
ChefNet
perfect.
turned into becoming the beginning stages of the Food Network.
Okay.
So it was a bulletin board to share knowledge, and that's what it was all about: sharing knowledge and talking to other chefs and asking questions, because the only dumb question is the one you don't ask.
That is true. And I have to say, speaking about chefs, not only are you selling to people that are cooking from home, but you're selling to the restaurant owners too.
I offer unique service to the restaurant owners and the other chefs out there in the industry. I have a 16-foot, 8.5 by 16-foot concession trailer I call my mobile spice lab. I'll pull it up to their restaurants, to the back door. I get an idea from the chefs what they're looking for a signature spice blend for their restaurant. I have everything pulled out, and then I invite those chefs into my kitchen to play. And we create a specialty seasoning right there on the spot that they can then take back into their kitchen and use in their restaurant.
Well, very good.
And I also do that for my customers like yourself who come up to my farm, to the farm stand. I get feedback from you on what you're looking. I had a customer just last week ask me for a Southwest Tex-Mex type seasoning. I now have it blended and ready for them to come by and buy it this coming week.
That is so nice. Now you're holding some of these tins in your hand. It's just a very nice thing that it's just so easy to use, and it keeps it airtight. And my brother was always saying about buying spices in like glass jars and stuff, but that's a nice way to keep.
Well, the problem with the glass jars and the plastic containers that you see in the grocery store that most people have is they get home and they buy them and then they go bad. They're stale right away. Well, light is just as much an enemy to a spice as air is. So when it's sitting on that shelf in the grocery store, the lights are on it all day long.
Yeah.
So by the time you take it home and you open it up and let air in, they don't last very long.
Yeah.
So the stainless steel tins, which are recyclable, are perfect for that because they'll protect them from the light and air.
It stacks nicely. It's very elegant. So what I want to make sure, we're getting close to the end. Doesn't it go by quickly?
It does.
I want you to just capture again for everyone that's listening, because with the watching, people can see your contact information, but watching, how do they get in touch with you?
SilkRoadSpiceEmporium.com, www.silkroadspiceemporium.com. You can always shoot me an email too at chef@hotmail.com. I answer my emails. If you go to my Facebook page and you like my Facebook page and follow me, if you ever have a question, I've had several customers that'll text me through Facebook and I'll answer them. I try to get back to them as soon as I get the message, or within a few hours of getting the message.
And you know what? Price points on your spices, the range,
The average is about $14.95. They start at around $8.95 and they go up just on the spices alone to about $24.95. I do have a couple of blends where I blend black truffle sea salts. I do a fleur de sal and a French burgundy black truffle sea salt. Well, that's $49.95, but you're getting almost 6 ounces of truffle salts in it.
Yes.
I bring in the fresh truffles. I grate them fresh myself, and I mix them with the salt, and I let it, age with the salt so that it gets that flavor in there. And I also do the same thing with the Sicilian sea salt. And I bring in black truffles from Italy and blend it with Sicilian sea salt, and so that but those are my higher end.
But that is okay, because the range of your price points is actually very reasonable because of where you're sourcing everything. That's why I said this is not grandma's spices. These are beautiful spices from around the world at far-flung places. This is
all the spices I try to keep high standards for the quality of the spices I bring in. I try to make sure they're all certified kosher, non-GMO, organic, or all natural. I have different variety of vendors and suppliers from around the world that I bring in my spices. I take a different approach than most people to spice blending. I start out with a fresh spice or herb, and it'll be wet when I start out. I dry it out in the oven or in the dehydrator, and then grind it out. And then I try to match those wet flavors that were now dry to a dry spice where I used fresh garlic. Now can I use garlic powder to get that same flavor? And then I recreate and rebuild my spice blend so I could do it on a bulk level.
Well, I have to say that it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show, because I wanted to put a spotlight on you as a business owner, because you're really cool and what you do is amazing. But also during this COVID time, I want the world to know, like, who's still open for business. You clearly are, and we're almost out of time. So I just wanted to say thank you again. Chef Joel Tallant, Silk Road Spice Emporium. I'm your host, Helen Contreras of Treasure Coast Connector, where it is a wonderful, like, absolute fun. I'm stuttering over myself because I'm having way too much fun to put a spotlight on local business owners. I hope everyone has a wonderful and productive week. Every night.